We're coming close to the final month of this interlude season, luckily, but today we want to take a look at another fun Pokemon and very likely also one of the strongest Pokemon for the Great League still, which is going to be Shadow Charizard. This Pokemon in the right hands can be absolutely devastating, and hopefully my hands are the right hands, because today we're going to take a look at this Pokemon. It's honestly a very difficult Pokemon to run, but also if you play it right, it can be so much fun. There is a bit of a gamble with this Pokemon. Quite a bit of a gamble, actually. But we're going to talk about it here today. Of course, if you enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like, as you're going to have here a very solid team that you can copy for yourself as well, which maybe helps you out to get some, usually I would say climb some elo, but in this season it doesn't matter, but get some nice rewards, I guess. Chromatic rewards, honestly, are really underrated. People are kind of not taking them too serious, even though they should be taken serious, because you get like still millions of Stardust. But anyway, let's take a look here at the team. We're going to have the Stunfisk in the lead. This is going to be the Pokemon that is here to break apart the one Pokemon that Charizard fears the most, which is going to be Bastion. Okay, also Carbink. Carbink is actually worse than Bastion in theory, but most people are running Bastion instead. So yeah, Bastion is the Pokemon that you fear the most with this with Charizard here. But what you don't fear is a Pokemon like Wigglytuff, and look at the damage of this Pokemon here. Well, let's take a break of talking and let's take a look at Blast Burn and nuking the opponent, and we win the first battle. Alright. So, you have the lead here to, in order to counter basically Bastion. We have the Sace up here, and Corviknight is really important because Corviknight is here in order to be a flying type Pokemon that can bait out the Pokemon that are good against flying type Pokemon. I have no idea why the opponent stops into Oranguru here, by the way, because Oranguru is a Pokemon that is really not looking forward to going head to head with a Corviknight. Corviknight has super effective coverage here as well as to resist the fast moves from the opponent, so I'm not really too worried about it here. But they actually try to utilize all their shields, which I'm happy with. And this is here where kind of the Corviknight comes in clutch. As a Say-Swap, Corviknight is going to be able to bait out electric type Pokemon as well as rock type Pokemon that you would be able to beat with your lead, but here you would still do some super effective fast move pressure with a Sand Attack. And this is why Corviknight is so unique, and this is why Corviknight is, for example, better than a Skarmory in the current meta. It's just because of the coverage that you have potentially with this Pokemon. So here we're going to have Charizard with our opponent's what's called Jumpluff here, which is actually a Pokemon that kind of completely disappeared. I think it's still a good Pokemon to run though, and we're going to be able to go for the Air Cutter. And here is where the gamble comes in clutch here. Basically, Air Cutter has the option to boost their own attack, which in this case didn't work, but the opponent had already enough and they just decide to forfeit here after this charge move, I think. Sorry, spoiler alert. This is going to be, of course, knocking out the Oranguru, but this is going to be enough not to let them forfeit, as they have a Girafarig in the back, which you're going to be able to deal with. Okay. Let's take a look here at how to play this team. We're going to have a lead here like Scissor. Honestly, our lead is not bad. We actually should be able to win this, like basically the matchup in the two-shot scenario guaranteed against Scissor with our lead. But because my backline is even so much stronger, I rather sub out into my Corviknight, take the hit here, and I'm now able to go for the Air Cutter, which is going to get the shield from the opponent. We outspeed them. We outspeed them all the time with our Pokemon here, with our Corviknight, which is fantastic. And we're going to see that Azumarill coming in next, which is totally fine as well. We're going to be able to go for a charge move. This is going to be the Air Cutter, and we have still at least our Stunfisk, and this is why it's totally fine. This is why you need Stunfisk as well, because you have that water weakness in the back of the Charizard, and you need kind of a Pokemon that kind of fits so many different kind of criteria, where Stunfisk is kind of one of the only ones that does it. Like Stunfisk kind of, is able to beat other electric type Pokemon, is able to beat water type Pokemon, is able to beat Bastion, and you don't find a lot of Pokemon that can do the same thing. And here, I'm gonna let the move go. I know it's Night Slash from the opponent. I would be able to knock them out if they decide to no shield here, which they're very likely gonna do. And now we have to see what they have in the back. What's the final Pokemon? What do they have? Oh, never mind. They're gonna go back into their Azumarill. We are gonna swap out into our Corviknight, and this actually was really nice because now we can go for the full farm down, and they reveal the final Pokemon being Altaria. Getting this Air Cutter in could honestly change quite a bit. You have a double Air Cutter team here actually, which is kind of funny as well. It's quite a rare move. Like, not a lot of Pokemon actually learn this move here, but it can be very, very devastating. As we're gonna see maybe here, let's see if we're gonna get a boost. No, we don't. This is the thing here. Air Cutter has a 30% chance of boosting your own attack. And trust me, with a Pokemon like Charizard, where you already do so much damage, this can completely change even matchups that are usually really bad for you. Here, we still don't get a boost. We are quite unlucky, but I try to sub out of here, try to get to my other Pokemon to catch the move here, but it doesn't work out. They're going to knock us out with a Sky Attack, and in comes now our Discharge. Is this going to be enough to knock out the Altaria? Let's find out. It is not, but we can still farm them down just in time and we can move on to the next opponent. We face off against the Fearow. That's a fantastic lead for us. As I stop onto the Hippowdon, okay, that's a bit awkward. But here's the thing. Against Fearow, actually our entire team kind of works out now. Hippowdon, though, is not the Pokemon I want to face. And actually Charizard is still kind of the best Pokemon I could have went into against the opponent's Hippowdon because there's no real answer to it here. I guess Corviknight maybe would have been able to also win this in the 2 shields or something. It would be a very close matchup. Because they're running Ice Fang, they do some solid fast move damage here. And of course, I just went ahead and went to the Pokemon that I thought was best against ground-type Pokemon. But the Ice Fang kind of threw me a little bit off guard there. We're going to be able to go for another Air Cutter here, which is now going to connect, and we're going to not knock them out by 1 HP. They survive with 1 HP in a Dream, which is really unfortunate. They have the Gastrodon in the back, and they reveal here, of course, the Fearow coming back in. And now I'm in a position where I don't think I have really a good chance of winning, even though like we are not in the worst position either. Here's the thing, Corviknight is actually really good against both of the remaining Pokemon, but what I'm fearing here is that the Fearow still gets another charge move here in time. If they do, which they do, this is going to be a bit tougher. They're both having here, like both Drill Peck as well as Drill Run would be neutral, but of course, like resisted, but like one time resisted as the same stage basically. But as you can see here, they're going to do some solid damage against us. In comes the opponent's Gastrodon, and while we are able to catch the move, which is very likely the Water Pulse, I have no real play here anymore as I can go for the Mud Bomb. This is fine, it's going to do some solid damage, but we need like 3 or 4 of them in order to knock them out. Most likely 3 would be enough here. I only get 1 off, and now like even a payback is not going to be enough to knock them. I will try my best to still get there, but as we see, the opponent has still their Water Pulse stored. They're going to knock us out, and we can move on to the next opponent. And honestly, Gaston is currently flooding the Great League meta to the point where I would like to see if I can build maybe a team that hard walls this Pokemon, because I'm just getting a little bit annoyed at Gastrodon because it's so common. Like, it's honestly just nearly everywhere. But anyway, you're going to see here the opponent's Moltres, and honestly, I'm quite alright with the scenario because we're gonna always get an advantage, either switch or shield advantage here. I will take the shield advantage because now I can utilize the matchup for our own Stunfisk. I want to stop it straight away, the game didn't allow me, but that's okay as well because now we can just let the move go. That's very likely going to be the Brave Bird, which is going to drop the opponent's defense by I think 3 stages, and we can try our best to go for the full farm run. It doesn't work out, but we're going to still survive this hit here. It's going to be just the Fly, I know that already. But as we see, we have a ton of energy now for later on. I don't know if it's going to come in clutch, but let's find out here against the opponent. We have the Corviknight against Corviknight, and we have a Gastrodon still in the back. I have a shield advantage. The opponent is a little bit behind of energy here. So generally speaking, it doesn't look too bad. What I'm trying to aim to do is to get the opponent into a position where I can try to go for a discharge against them. And I'll try to keep my energy here, my payback for the opponent's Gastrodon, because I know the payback isn't enough. We saw already the damage the first payback did, so I know it's not going to be enough. And so I'm going to try my best to go for a move, but the opponent actually swaps out into their own Gastrodon, which is quite nice for us, because we have now a payback coming in, and we can go for another payback, and this is looking really, really good. Like, now we should be kind of in a position where we can win this battle. We got them super low, and they're going to knock us out now, but I should be able to just Thunder Shock them down with like 1 Thunder Shock. I think it's going to be enough, but it's 2 Thunder Shocks, and that is actually more... yeah, in like I don't know, like it's gonna even be more impactful than you might expect, because they survive with 1 HP, and if I just went even for a charge move against the opponent's Gaston, I would have been fine as well. I should have just went for the charge move, and I would have been able to just farm them down afterwards. That was partially my fault as well that we lost this battle. Okay, we have a Ferret, and Ferret has one big issue. All charge moves are resisted on Corviknight, other than Brick Break. Brick Break is really rare to be seen. Brick Break is a move that got buffed this season though, so like I'm not like that crazy surprised about seeing this move here. Like, it's not as bad as it was last season. Last season was absolutely garbage. Like, it was not a good move at all. Now I can see a little bit more. I can see why people are running this move a bit more here. But at the end of the day, they're still going to lose. Like, they're still going to lose this matchup. They're not going to be able to align themselves. We're going to be able to get the KO. And I feel like we've been already doing at least like 20 million of those air cutters, and we haven't seen a single boost, I think. At least I don't recall a single boost, and we're close to the end of the video already. So like okay, it's more like midway through here right now. But so I'm kind of curious on how and why. Like, why do we not get a boost? Like, how unlucky are we? How much impact has that as well on the battle? So far, I think we are kind of like a thing as well with Charizard. A lot of times you don't actually need the boost. Like, the boost can be nice. The boost can come in clutch. The boost can allow you to even do damage with the air cutter. But a lot of times, as you can see here as well, the boost would have not helped me there. Like, I would have knocked them out no matter what. And so that's where kind of the boost kind of sometimes also is a little bit irrelevant. But anyway, you're going to have here the Talonflame against us as long as we survive the sit, which I'm hopeful. I think we do because we're very bulky. Yes, we do. As long as we're going to survive the sit, I'm kind of, thinking I'm going to have to win this battle anyway because this discharge is not enough to knock them out, but it's going to put them low enough that we can farm them down and we can move on to the next opponent. We're just going to also run the Shadow Scissor in the lead. This is again a Pokemon where we rather want to swap out into our backline, but in this case, yeah, this works out again. Hopefully it's going to be Trailblaze because Trailblaze is fantastic here. They decided to go for the Night Slash, sorry, which is totally fine for us as well. We are going to be able to take the hits quite easily. And they reveal their next Pokemon, which is going to be the Licky. This Pokemon is quite difficult to take down, but actually Payback is surprisingly doing a lot of damage. I thought this Pokemon would be even bulkier than it actually is. As we are going to see as well, we're going to be able to let the move go through. It doesn't do that much damage. And I will let the next move go through as well, which is going to be the Body Slam from the opponent. We have the Stunfisk coming in. I went for the wrong move here. That is my fault. I should have went for the Mud Bomb. That was just silly. Mud Bomb does a tiny bit more damage, by the way. Mud Bomb does, like, I think 5 more damage or something compared. And it actually kind of matters because otherwise I would have never been able to get to this move here. We would have just knocked him out there. And you would have had here way more health left, basically, which could have been kind of cool. Especially as the opponent is going to go into the Shadow Scissor. I'm going to swap out here into my Charizard. But they are going to swap out, of course, into their own Annihilape. And this is actually not that bad. Like, this is winnable. Like, this is absolutely winnable. As we're going to see as well, the Ekata is coming through. It's going to allow us to boost our own attack up. And we're going to shield up the move. This is going to be the Rage Fist. This is going to be fine as you can have now the Ekata, which is hopefully knocking them out. We got the boost there before. Let's see if it's going to knock them out. We're going to get the shield from the opponent. That's fine by me as well, though, because we have now the option to just snipe them with our Stunfisk. And it's not going to be enough, but we're going to be able to knock them out here now with the next charge move, which is totally fine for us as well. And we can now see what they have here. There's going to be the Scissor. We can go for the Mud Bomb. We're going to be able to win this battle again. Good game to the opponent. There is nothing they could have really done here, but yeah, still, I think we played this card well here. Alright, Stunfisk against a Clodsire. Clodsire is honestly a Pokemon that nobody's really running anymore. I feel like it deserves a little bit more love. I maybe gonna take a close, a close look here on what the team is from the opponent. So far, we only seen a Clodsire, which doesn't want to swap out of a matchup against a Corviknight. But it's going to be Manabus Clodsire. Okay, that is not something I'm going to run at all. Manabus is a Pokemon that is great if you want to do well in the Go Battle League and take your time, because it takes your time. It's honestly it slows down the battles too much, which you see as well. Like, we had them now for 2 moves, I think, and it's gonna barely do any damage there. And we're gonna see the Dark Bolts coming through, and actually still chunks quite a bit. Like, honestly, Corviknight is such a pain to deal with if you don't have super effective hits. But we do have super effective hits, as you're gonna see as well. The Discharge is coming through and barely is gonna do anything, as we will see here the opponent going for the Dark Bolts, doing some solid damage against us. But the Clodsire is coming back in, and I don't want to sacrifice my Stunfisk yet. I decide to shield, and I decide to bomb. We're going to have the Mud Bomb coming through. This is going to allow us to get a ton of damage in, but we still have to swap out into the next Pokemon, to the Corviknight, catching yet another move. This is going to be the Earthquake again, not knocking us out, allowing us to go for another charge move, which is going to do some solid damage against the opponent. Let's take a look here. It's going to get them super low, and they're going to still farm us down, but I'm kind of alright with that, because now I should be able to just go for this Fountain with our Charizard, but they're actually still going to get to another move, which is super unfortunate. We have here now the Feraligatr coming in. I'm gonna try my best to go for the Blast Burn and try to go for the charge move here, but they actually catch the move onto the Manabus. Well done. At this point, I have nothing left for the Feraligatr. Super well played from the opponent, though. We can move on to the final battle of today, which is going to be Corviknight against an Elite, which is fantastic. Well, yes, they have the Sand Attack, and we talked about on how much damage this Pokemon can do. It's mainly for the Sacer position. Like, it's honestly mainly for the Sacer position. I don't really like it too much in the lead here, but I could be wrong as well. Of course, that's always the case. But basically what's going to happen here is we're going to have the Payback coming through. We're going to be able to go up against some Morpeko, which is totally fine as well, because now we can go for the Mud Bombs, and I'm just going to be able to destroy the opponent. There's nothing really to worry about here. We are going to let the move go. We know that the Psychic Fangs is not going to knock us out here at all, and we can try our best to go into our Corviknight actually. Farm them down, get a funny KO, and let's see who's coming in next. It is going to be Let's find out here. The opponent's Corviknight as well. That's going to be fine. We should be able to just knock them out with one more payback here. The payback is coming through. Are they going to let the move go through here as well? They do not. They shear up the move, and this is going to be interesting because now we're going to have another charge coming in from our Corviknight. This is going to go up against the Denny here. Great catch from the opponent. As we will see here, we're going to have to use a shield on the Stunfisk. It is going to be, we just got hit by a parabolic charge which boosts the opponent's defense, which now will allow them to very likely survive the Mud Bomb because the Mud Bomb isn't the strongest move. And yeah, let's see here. We're going to have another Mud Bomb coming through. This is going to allow us to get the KO against the opponent. They just have the Covenant in the back. They were hoping that there's like a grass type for us in the back or whatever. We don't have a grass type. We have Charizard. And honestly, Charizard is still a solid Pokemon. Charizard is kinda definitely not as meta as it was at one stage, but it's still a very good Pokemon that you should definitely give a try. And this is going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and we'll see you then. Bye bye.